Hey guys, I thought I would try doing a reading vlog today. It is Sunday, October the 3rd, and I have absolutely nothing that I need to do aside from go grocery shopping. So I thought today it was the perfect day to try out doing a reading vlog for the first time. I don't know if this is noticeable in my videos, but they are very heavily edited. There is a cut every few seconds basically, partly because I'm very pedantic about editing out every single and huge take of breath that I tend to take in the middle of sentences apparently. I say so much that I now recognize the shape of it in the sound waves on the editing program that I use. I don't even have to be listening to myself, I can just visually edit out all the just by looking at the sound waves. I also, despite having made videos for several years, have not mastered the technique of just talking at a camera without messing up my words or starting to say a sentence without exactly knowing where I'm going to finish it, so I end up pausing in the most random of places, and that works fine for like book wrap-ups and those kind of more formal sit-down videos. But for something like a reading vlog, I feel like the idea is meant to be that you're a bit more casual and free-flowing, and that is not something I have managed to do so far. So maybe if I attempt to make more of these kinds of vlogs, I will pick up the skills needed to do that kind of free flow vlog style. I don't know, we'll see how we go. So anyway, currently I am reading 3 books. I'm of course reading Shirley for Victober. I am only about 3 chapters in, so still only just starting to make headway into it. So far I have not met the eponymous Shirley character yet, or any female characters. It begins with a bunch of curates describing how they like to drink and eat all the time, and then it introduces the character of Robert Moore, who is a mill owner who has just bought some new machinery for his mill, and of course all the workers are very upset about this because it means they will lose their jobs. So Charlotte's definitely taking her time to really set the scene before she introduces any of the female characters, I guess. I can only imagine how disappointed people would have been at the time if they were fans of Jane Eyre and then they received the new Charlotte Bronte book and opened it only to find it being a bunch of men talking about politics from events that happened about 40 years before it was published. I'm remembering how with classics I have to sort of concentrate and read a couple of chapters to really get into them again. Now I'm kind of getting back into the rhythm of the Bronte Victorian writing style, and I'm starting to really enjoy it. I'm also reading The Road Through the Wall by Shirley Jackson. I saw a film the other month about Shirley Jackson. It was weirdly based off a fictional novel about her. It was kind of a weird film because it really deleted a lot of the real life aspects of Shirley Jackson's life. Like, it completely just disregarded the fact she had children and that kind of thing. So it was a very strange film. I'm not sure I liked it. It starred Elizabeth Moss, but it did remind me how much I love Shirley Jackson's writing and that I've been meaning to read more of her books ever since I read The Haunting of Hill House and We Have Always Lived in the Castle. So this is her first published novel. It's about the inhabitants of a suburban street called Pepper Street. I believe something sinister is eventually going to happen in the book, but so far it's just been describing all the different children and adults that live there and their interactions, and how a lot of them are all very snobby and judgmental. I am really enjoying it, but it has been a bit tricky for me to get my head around all the different characters and trying to work out who is who. She gave a really detailed description at the beginning of the book about each house and who lives there and exactly where the houses are located next to each other, and I kind of wish she'd drawn a map at the beginning of the book so I could keep checking back just to double check who each character is, because you get short snippets about each character throughout the book. But aside from that, I am very much enjoying this one. And I'm also reading A Lonely Girl is a Dangerous Thing by Jessie too. This is an Australian novel that came out this year, and I'm getting through it quite quickly, but it's also something I kind of need breaks from because the main character is quite intense. She was a child prodigy at violin playing, and the book is about her in her young adult life, having gone through a sort of breakdown when she was in her teens that stopped her from playing violin, so she's only just recently picked it back up again. And it's also about how she has this sex addiction that's kind of a substitute for her violin addiction. So she obviously has a very obsessive personality, and I'm finding it quite intense to read about and to be in her head. So I am enjoying it, but I'm also only taking it in small chunks. So as I mentioned, I do need to go to the grocery store and buy ingredients for my dinner and lunch for the next week. It's something I do on the weekend just to make it easier for me during the week when I'm too lazy after work to cook anything. I generally just make 2 meals and eat the same thing throughout the week, which I know some people don't like. They like to have variety, but I actually love having the same thing every day. I mean, as long as my cooking doesn't turn out really bad, obviously. I guess I like having the consistency of knowing I have this meal ready for me to microwave every day. So anyway, I have to wait until 11 o'clock because it's Sunday and the shops won't open till 11 because Perth is apparently still a country town. So in the meantime, I will do some reading. I'm back from the shop, so I thought I would do a little grocery haul. I quite enjoy watching these when I see other people do them in vlogs, so hopefully this is at all interesting. So for dinner I'm making Moroccan chickpeas and zucchini, which is something I've not made before, but I found it in one of my cookbooks and it sounded good. And I'm really just feeling like cooking a stew because they are easy one-pot meals and contain lots of vegetables. So obviously chickpeas. I want to be one of those people who cooks dried beans all the time because buying beans in cans is so wasteful in terms of like the packaging. But there's only one store in Perth that sells things bulk buy and it's in the city, so I very rarely go there because I am too lazy to take the train into the city. I just want the mainstream supermarkets to catch up and start selling things bulk buy, except of course because of COVID that's probably not going to happen for a very long time. Obviously in that meal I'm gonna put in zucchini, carrots, what else did I get? Garlic and ginger, and some tomatoes, which in the recipe was a tin, but I decided I'm going to chop up some fresh ones so as to not buy tinned stuff. And then for my lunch I am just going to marinate some tofu. I already have a marinade that I've marinated 1 packet of tofu in already. I find that I can use it for 2 lots of tofu because otherwise it's just kind of wasteful to chuck it out every time. So I'm going to fry that up once that's marinated, and then I'm going to roast some sweet potato and some capsicum, and I thought I'd roast some normal potatoes as well because I tend to underestimate how much I actually like to eat for lunch and not make enough food. And so I'm also going to fry up some broccoli, which I don't know if that's a thing that most people do, but it's something my mum taught me, is that broccoli tastes so much better if you fry it in a little bit of olive oil and some salt. So you fry it up to like brown it slightly and then put water in and cover the frying pan with a pot lid or like a tray, because my saucepan lid is too small to fit the frying pan that I have. So I use a pizza tray to cover it up and steam it just to cook it properly. So that's all the food I bought. And then of course I got distracted by the Halloween decorations in Coles. All my Halloween decorations and a lot of my Christmas decorations are just from Coles. Weirdly enough, the supermarket does better decorations than like the more expensive stores in my opinion, and obviously they're a lot cheaper. Normally I try not to buy mass-produced like pointless rubbish basically, unless it's from an op shop or a thrift store, because consumerism is one of the things that is killing the planet. But I cannot help myself around this time of the year. Even though Halloween is not really a big thing in Australia, I am slightly obsessed with it, I think because of the autumnal vibes that it brings, and I love autumn. Even though it's spring right now in Australia, it's been relatively cool so far this month. So I've been able to sort of pretend that it's vaguely autumny. I already have some Halloween decorations up, which I'll show you in some clips, but I couldn't help myself and buy these 2 tinsel like decoration stand things. A pumpkin and a ghost, obviously. They're so tacky, but I also love them. One thing I've noticed in Australia is there's not enough witch content in Halloween decorations. There's lots of pumpkins, lots of ghosts, bats and spiders and like rats as well, which I guess is sort of like buying into the gross side of Halloween. But I like the kind of cute, spooky autumn type thing, and so witches I think perfectly encompass that. So
I also, because there was a special on and you could buy 4 items for $10, I also got these window stickers and actually some witch content. There's witch hats on this one, and pumpkins. And yeah, I wasn't going to buy these bats and spiders, so I do quite like the bats, but because it was 4 for $10, I was like, well, I need one more thing, so I got this as well. I do love pumpkins. I think pumpkins are my favorite bit of the Halloween like decoration catalogue. So these are the decorations that I have that I've already put up, that I bought in previous years. This is some bats that were originally on a really long string that was unnecessarily long, so the bats were spaced out really far, so I put them on a new string, and they're now hanging on my starlights. And then I have this garland of paper pumpkins, which might be my favorite one because it kind of looks homemade, even though I clearly did not make it. A machine somewhere in China did. And then down here, where you will have seen me film in front of, I have put up the pumpkin lights I got last year, which I really like because they kind of look like word lollies, and for some reason that appeals to me. And then these ghosts, which I think my sister actually bought. We kind of divvied out some of our decorations, well, the Halloween ones anyway, when she moved into a different house from me. We called them the gossip ghosts because they kind of look like they've just heard something shocking. This one is actually fallen down. I'm gonna have to put the camera down to actually do this. Using sticky tape is terrible for the environment, but blue tack doesn't really work and then it gets stuck in the cord. So it's about 9:30 now and I am about to go to bed. For a reading vlog, I didn't actually do that much reading. I did read a little bit of A Lonely Girl is a Dangerous Thing at lunchtime, but then I decided to watch a film as usual. I watched The Lost Boys, which I've never seen before. It was on my Halloween October watch list, so I thought I'd give it a go today, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's the kind of horror-esque film I actually really enjoy because it was so campy and 80s and had a relatively happy ending, so I didn't feel too traumatized by it. I also started watching Twin Peaks. I've never seen it before. I've obviously heard of it, but I don't know a huge amount about it. Before going in, I just knew that it was set in a small town and is about the death of a girl called Laura Palmer. So far in the first episode, which was a whole 90 minutes, so I actually just watched it over 2 days, and all that's really happened is introducing all the characters. I really love Kyle MacLachlan's character, Agent Cooper, obviously. He is hilariously eccentric, and yeah, I definitely love the whole vibe of it so far in the atmosphere. I can definitely see that Stranger Things took a lot of inspiration from like the visuals and from the tone, and I definitely love the sort of dry sense of humor that it seems to have as well. So looking forward to watching that over the course of this month. So I'm going to read a little bit of The Road Through the Wall before I go to bed, and so I think I'll end the reading vlog there. Let me know how I went for my first go at a reading vlog. Hopefully there's enough footage for it to be interesting in some way. Hope you're all doing well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!